Hello, everyone. It's Matt Schlapp. Just got back from a great CPAC Australia in Sydney. I think they're saying it's the third and a half CPAC in Australia because the poor people of Australia suffered terrible lockdowns during all the Chinese corona nonsense. But at this year's CPAC, we learned so many things that we have in common here in America for those of us who are committed to fighting for freedom. And we've had this terrible Black Lives Matter CRT in our classrooms, this desire, which I think started under Obama, to divide us according to race, divide us according to almost everything you can think of, social stigmas and everything else, but race, race, race. You're privileged if you're not dark-skinned. You're successful for that privilege, and driving that home to our kids by teaching that America is a systemically racist country. It's a bad country. It can never escape its past where we had legalized slavery, even though slavery was legal all over the globe at all times. And even today we have more slavery than we had 250 years ago with this terrible scourge of human trafficking. So what they're trying to do in Australia, the left, which is akin to the left here in this country, I suppose all these people meet in Davos and get all their funding from people like George Soros, and they're doing similar things in each country. And in Australia, they've taken this desire to divide people racially, and what they're trying to do is pass a referendum to their constitution to give political rights according to race. So think about our American experience. Black people start off as being 3/5 of a person. If we remember that terrible birth defect we started with in our Constitution, where blacks were considered less than all other people in the country. And we fought a civil war. We had all these disagreements. And eventually, through the creation of the Republican Party, that birth defect was healed in our founding document. And we passed 3 amendments to the Constitution to do what Martin Luther King asked us to never judge people by their race, but to judge them on the content of their character. What they're trying to do in Australia now is say, if you can show that you're an Aboriginal person, you will get more rights than all the other people. So now they're back and re-engaging this idea of separation along racial lines, even though the conservatives in Australia were the ones who pushed making their constitution not have segregation. So the same thing, they're going to try to do the same thing here in America. You can see that with the Black Lives Matter efforts, these woke policies coming from these corporations eventually get down to the point where they want to create disparities along racial lines all over again, this time coming from the political hard radical left. The other thing we learned in Australia is that the center-right party in power really suffered at the polls because they went along with the Fauciisms and the lockdowns and the mandates. And the people of Australia have been through a bruising period of time. And of course, they're in a dangerous neighborhood with the influence of the regime in Beijing, which looms large over their security and their economy. So we come back from Australia understanding even more acutely the desire of the left to separate America along racial lines. And all of us have to be, we have to be today's civil rights activists, making sure that they are never able to separate Americans. Americans believe that it's not the government that gives you your rights, it's God that gives you your rights. And government just guarantees that those God-given rights are preserved no matter your religion, no matter the color of your skin, no matter your ethnicity, no matter your political philosophy. We got to hold on to that. We got to hold on to these principles now more than ever. And you should also be proud, all of those of you who support us at CPAC, that the event in Australia gets bigger every year, just like it does in all these countries. And we'll be updating you on the other countries we're going to be traveling to as we close out the year, including Japan, where we had our first international CPAC in Tokyo many years ago. And we're looking forward to being with our friends in Japan again soon. Thanks a lot, and we'll keep you posted on all these interesting developments overseas.